of Clardy, who's now recognized for 5 minutes for his testimony.
Thank you, Chairman Raskin and Ranking Member Sessions and members of the committee for the opportunity to speak about election integrity in Texas. For the record, my name is Travis Clardy, and I'm proud to represent House District 11, serving the people of Cherokee, Nacogdoches, and Rusk counties in the Texas House of Representatives. The right to vote by a secure private ballot is a fundamental right in this country that should be protected, and the laws protecting our vote should be debated honestly and vigorously. And that is exactly what we've endeavored to do in Texas for the last 8 months. While I am grateful for the invitation to be here, I believe this conversation is best suited for the Texas House floor in our state capitol in Austin, rather than a Washington, D.C. committee hearing room. However, I must take some exception to the premise of why we were invited to testify. To be sure, there is no assault on voting rights in Texas. But there is, in fact, a real danger posed to our democracy. Not the well-intentioned and reasoned provisions in HB 3 to better secure our election processes, but instead the growing threat of practices too long tolerated that deprive individuals of voting for the candidates of their choice and diluting the essential democratic concept of one person, one vote. Moreover, while I appreciate the hard work and effort trying to pass a one-size-fits-all federal omnibus election bill, I am reminded of that familiar Texas adage to be leery of those who pronounce they are with the federal government and they're here to help. Texas has on her books a very strong and effective set of election laws and a dedicated group of election professionals that I believe can and should be the envy of every state and union. This is most recently reflected in the outcome of this Tuesday's runoff election for Congressional District 6 and the victory of our Texas House colleague, Jake Ellzey. Once again, Texas enjoyed a safe, secure, timely, and well-run election in which we can all take pride with trust and confidence. But first, let me say this to my Democratic colleagues there with you today. It's time to come home. Enough is enough. You've had your fun. It's time to get back to work. You know as well as I do, this legislation has been negotiated in good faith and deserves your attention. House Bill 3, the reason we are here today, is a sound and tailored bill to improve existing law. And like every bill, it can get better through debate and deliberation. But unfortunately, until our colleagues decide to come home, that is not possible. In Texas, we allow everyone to submit amendments to be argued during floor debates. It's an inclusive process that has served us well and is available to all those who want to participate. Simply put, we should want to make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. House Bill 3 expands voting hours. It makes it possible for voters to correct mistakes on their mail-in ballots. It penalizes vote harvesting, and it extends identification requirements for mail-in ballots. In fact, it is such a good bill that the professional associations representing our election administrators and our county clerks around Texas testified favorably that with a few technical process changes, they would change their formal positions from neutral to actually supporting the bill, which we all should want. Now, I would like to address some of the misconceptions that have made their way around the national media concerning House Bill 3. First, House Bill 3 does not limit hours of voting. Actually, House Bill 3 expands voting time from current law of 7 to 7 to 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., an increase of 4 hours per day. Further, employees are required to allow employees to vote or face criminal sanctions. Secondly, House Bill 3 does not eliminate curbside voting. In Texas, curbside voting is allowed for disabled and other eligible voters, an accommodation that allows these citizens to drive to the polls and participate in person rather than mailing in their ballots, which remains an option. Thirdly, poll watchers cannot intimidate voters. This bill does not permit voter intimidation, and observers cannot watch a voter actually cast his or her ballot, nor can they film election activity. Election observers can be ejected from the polling place if they interfere in the election process or commit a breach of the peace or violation of law. Fourthly, House Bill 3 does not allow mail-in ballots to be thrown out automatically. Rather, for the very first time, it allows for the voters to cure their mistakes so all valid votes can be counted. Fifthly and finally, House Bill 3 does not impose unreasonable burdens on voter assistance. It simply expands current law regarding the required information and the assistance oath before aiding the voter. But folks, let's make no mistake about it. Illegal voting does occur in the state of Texas, and it cannot be excused. We must have zero tolerance when it comes to voter fraud. Confidence in our elections, like faith in our judiciary and trust in our law enforcement, is vital to the perpetuation of the American experiment. And it is our best and utmost assurance for the survival of our republic. This is the duty we all have to our constituents and the oath that we all took to our Constitution, to our nation, and to our state. I believe we are all up to the task. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and I look forward to answering any questions. Thank you.